Stop being like every other electrician in the world. I want to do a little bit of a thought experiment right now, so I want you guys to follow me through some thought processes about what you do as an electrician every single day. A lot of people get into this pattern of, we just get hired somewhere and we start doing work and we just keep doing that work and we don't ever stop doing that work. Some people hate it, some people love it. You don't really taste the rest of the industry, I suppose. And there's a couple of different paths throughout your career that I think are wise for you just to sit and think about what you are doing, the way that you work, and where you're going. And have some sort of a plan, have a path where you know, like, this is my destination 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, but at least take the time to maybe sit and write some of this stuff down and figure out, where do you want your career to go? And what sets you apart from every other electrician? So every other electrician, what I mean is that I get calls all the time. Hey, can you come and change the switch out? Hey, can you come and reset a GFCI for me? Yeah, I can, but so can 1,500 other people. And what's really made me arrive at this needing to specialize or wanting to specialize in something rather than be the every electrician is I don't want to compete for the lowest prices anymore. And I think the ability that I've had from the plethora of experience that I have has given me the ability to choose which directions I want to go. If I was only ever one kind of electrician, if all I ever did was multifamily or track homes, and I had 20 years of experience doing that, it'd be really difficult for me to transition into going into commercial work or running a company. If I get my master electrician's license and I start a contracting company and I want to do all these things, you're limited to the scope of what you know. Now, that's not inherently bad. I would actually argue that's kind of rad. You just have to make sure that you really, really love that thing. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. The first thing to think about in your career as a tool wearer, an electrician, as a journeyman, as an apprentice, do you like what you're doing, right? You're always gonna be the best at something that you love. And so if you're in commercial service work or something like that, and you've never wired a home before, or you've never done anything in industrial, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of electricians. So figuring out what kind of work that you absolutely love is super huge. It's really important. So congrats for getting in the door in the industry, and now you have a little bit of experience, so now you're hireable. That's the hardest part, right? I get so many emails and DMs from people I'm trying to be an apprentice and I just can't get a job. Everybody wants people with experience. So you've already got that to your advantage, that you have experience. So is it worth it for you to stick in this one thing? Do you love it? Do you have a great relationship with your boss? Do you have a clear future, or have you not even thought about that yet? And I think it's super huge to do that. Also, if you think about who you are and how you show up on a job, do you ever think about man, when I show up, everybody just seems like they're irritated that I'm here because I'm screaming at people all the time, or I don't seem to really know what I'm doing? Or when you get to a job, does everybody kind of straighten up and they're trying to increase their value because you're around and you make people look good, so they want to look good for you? Think about who you are. When you go into a customer's house, are you polite and respectful and well-groomed? Do you laugh at their stupid sparky jokes and, oh my God, that was shocking? I know it's stupid, but are you a personable, kind-hearted person that people actually want to be around? Do you actually fix problems in people's minds, or do you create more problems in people's mind? Is it stressful to have you come into a home because there's all these excuses why you can't do this and why you can't do that? Or do you just fix the problem and say, got you taken care of? Right? How you show up as an electrician is also another way that you're going to be very successful throughout your career versus the other guy. And if that's just being a good dude, we need more of that in the industry. I can't tell you how many customers are they just see a difference in somebody and they forever only want to use that person because they just show up as a different kind of human than most of the, loose pants, dirty, kind of disrespectful, rude, not very thoughtful people that leave a mess. And there's a lot more of that in the trades than there are of people that hold themselves to a high standard and think about the details and think about the customer interactions that they have. So where do you want to go as an electrician, right? If you're in the union right now, do you want to stay in the union? Have you worked non-union? If you're not in the union's got some pretty rad things that they offer. So like there's benefits, there's pros and cons to both of anything that you do really. But start thinking like, it's so early in my career and I've got so many years ahead of me. This is a 20, 30 year game I'm playing. So would it behoove me to maybe like take a few years for what I'm doing and then start to do something else? All of your bosses are not going to like that I'm saying this to you right now, but right, a boss wants you to like get in, stay in 10, 20 years, retire with them. That's what we're all looking for, is those long-term, hard-working, like really great electricians. But I'm being honest with you as an electrician that I think thinking about the next 20 years of your career, rather than just being reactionary to things, is really important. So what I did is I got a lot of different kinds of experience, you know? So I understand when people talk about inrush current with motors and harmonics, and I understand that stuff because I went and did commercial service work, and it exposed me to a lot of like motors and a lot of automation systems in factories. And, you know, like my understanding of how electricity works and theory and code was greatly increased by me getting out of wiring homes, because I had done that for a certain amount of years. And I got into wiring really high-end, crazy homes that have home automation systems and smart home technology, lighting control systems. And so that also gave me this crazy edge where I had to research what is reverse phase and forward phase and lighting. And, you know, like it started to build me out to be better than I was when I was younger. It was putting kind of new challenges in my face that not every electrician gets to do, right? So if you're in this pattern of just kind of doing the minimums, a lot of companies are like that out there. And you might not know as a journeyman, as an apprentice, that you're working for a company that's not really gonna get you anywhere. It might get you raises over a few years, but you just don't know what you don't know. So is it worth it for you in your career to stay in this one company for a really long time? Or is it worth it maybe like try industrial for a little while? You can walk in and apply at a company and say, dude, I've got years of experience, I'm a journeyman, or even I have 2 years of hours of actual experience as an apprentice. You're going to get work somewhere. So if you don't like what you're doing, maybe change it. Again, play the long game. Where do you want to go? And where this really exacerbates is once you get your own company and you're your own boss, you really need to think about this from an early on time frame. Because where you go as a company, you're a little bit more stuck to that. Once you start going and you start doing a certain kind of work and you have all these customers and then they start referring and talking to people and you start hiring people, it's very difficult for you just to make a drastic switch all of a sudden and start doing something else because this isn't working. If this is all you've ever done and you've been a field guy for 20 years, you don't know about dynamics of businesses and finance and tax, law, legal structures, any of that kind of stuff. So you're gonna have to start this whole new journey of becoming a business person. So it's a good idea to have the electrical side of it really, really locked down and not be trying to jump into something you don't know. So by the time you start running a business, it's very important that you know where you wanna go and what your niche is. And from the very beginning of this video, I said, stop being like every other electrician. I will tell you probably 75% of the industry is made up of electrical contracting companies that just do a bunch of everything, right? They're like, I've got all this experience. I went and did service work. I've done new construction. I've done industrial, residential, commercial. I've done all of these things. I'm gonna start a company and I'm just gonna do everything because I have that much experience and I'm that good, right? Like knowing a lot and having a lot of experience is its own form of specialization because there's not a lot of people out there that just have a wide variety of really good experience that hones them into being this like overall really well understood, well-known electrician. It's usually the specialists that are known though. So if you're gonna be like a lighting control person and you've got like, you know, you've gone through Control 4 training and Crestron's, you know, training and you're actually one of their certified installers and you go through all the Lutron training and everything and you are the lighting control person and you got 20 years of experience working on all these different lighting control systems that are not the ones that I mentioned and figuring all that out, you're so specialized that you're the go-to person when people can't figure something out. And you can charge a lot of money because you just know so much. So there's, being a specialist in a certain demographic, in a certain area of our industry is super valuable. It's very, very, very valuable. But sometimes that will come at the cost of having experience in other things. So it's up to you early on in your career. Do you want to go taste some different things to figure out what you want to specialize in? Or do you know this thing that I'm in is gonna make me happy for the rest of my life and this is all I wanna do? And both of those are great things. It's okay either way. But I just think when I talk to electricians around the US, around the world, not a lot of people think about this until just later on they're gonna start a company. And then it's when they think about it and it's like, oh crap, I wish I would have gone and worked and done this for a few more years, and I wish I would have done that because now I can't even start a company because I don't even know anything about it. So think about who you are, how you show up, what you're doing and why you're doing it, the company that you're working for, the kind of work that you're doing, why you're doing it, and then where you're gonna go. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Where do you see yourself next year? Still work with the same company or maybe try something different? Where are you gonna be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Maybe your path is tasting all these things. Maybe your path is, I'm super happy here and I'm just gonna stick with this thing until I retire. And that's totally fine. But at least if you have not thought about these things yet, about why you're an electrician, how you work and show up, and making sure that you are seen as somebody that has unique value amongst every other electrician, and then where are you going? Where do you want to take that? And I think those 3 things, if you can answer those, are gonna help you a lot in your career. Even with software, there's companies that you can run your entire company with a piece of software. I use Jobber. They are very good at a very specific thing. So they allow you to manage your entire company with a piece of software from your phone. Every new customer that I get, I go to my phone when I'm out in my truck, or I'm getting done with a job. I can just stand here and be like, okay, I've got these receipts, I'm gonna snap a picture, here's my receipt, boom. And I can very easily just kind of drag and drop things, and I can create an invoice off of a job. I can actually take a job and convert it into an invoice, and when I'm done with the job, I just hit a button and it sends to them. They can pay right through the email. It's like everything that you would write down and put in your visor or have in a file somewhere in an office, it's on your phone all day with you. That's a very specialized thing. So if you guys haven't used Jobber before and you are running a company, for the business folks out there, I highly recommend you try Jobber. There's a link down in the description below for a 14-day trial, and then you get a special electrician U price if you go to it. So sorry for the shameless plug, but Jobber's a good example of, again, somebody that is specializing in something from experience out in the field, and then they figured out there's a problem, there's a very specific problem that we want to solve. So we're gonna be those people that solves this very specific problem. Anyways, I love you crazy people. I'll see you in the next one.